So here we are. Thank you so much for joining the Mystical Moments today with special guest Teilhard de Chardin. And I'm pronouncing the name not right, but well, it's just about the best I can do right now. So this French anthropologist, who was a Jesuit priest. He researched, he philosophized, he made an incredible work, Phenomena of Man, the evolutionary development from the caveman to Homo Illumina, the enlightened one, with all the phases in between. He connected it into one, evolutionary construct that he could see at work. So he had quite an overview. He was quite bright, so to speak. He's beautiful to see how he puts all that together. Development of consciousness, the development of the idea that one can look at oneself, and in that sense suddenly it is possible also for this one to have a conscious contact with God, and more and more and more. So it's like there's quite a genre if you look at it that way. Like Pierre Teilhard had quite the genre. He has very different ways of writing. For instance, one is very scientific, with the anthropologist's kind of background, looking at the evolutionary development of a human being from cave to Homo Illumina. That's one thing. But then he also has, like I have this booklet of him that is always fascinating. It's a very little booklet, but you can spend a lot of time being with it. It's like the hymn of the universe, So it's he writes thoughts. He writes little stories. He writes. This is one of the things that I put out as a podcast. Is he writes in the style of someone else. He makes a story. He writes a story, and the story is really like a story about himself. But he uses two characters, and not as a split personality, but like he is the whole story. So this is literally happening to him, and so that's really fun to read it like that and discover, wow, that's amazing. He in the podcast, we're actually not going to listen to it, but it's available on YouTube. Like I put 3 of these stories related to how you can look at things in a different way. He wrote those stories in a certain style. To know that you can look differently is one thing. To express yourself in a way that you really like because you like another writer, the way that this writer expresses him, and you're going to take that as an idea and use it for yourself, is very creative, and like very creative and original in that sense. So we're not doing that, but I use him then as an example of self-expression. Like you cannot avoid, but using that, what really works for you, what is really inspiring you, and this can be a word out of a book, and you spend the rest of your life, you could say, spend the rest of your life going deeper into that idea and seeing what doors open up, expressing yourself in your way, in everything that comes with it. So this is a bit what he did too. He had one idea. Okay, this is the evolution of man, and the phenomena of man, the evolution of man. How did the human being come into the existence that he is in right now, and how will the development be? And that was an idea, and it took him years to bring that together. But then there is something there that is like he had the brightness of writing this down, the inspiration, literally, that is resonating with the truth when you read it. Like it resonates with you. If you hear what he says, it is really beautiful to undergo the experience of looking at it as if you look through his glasses to how he saw the whole picture. So that's quite something. But like I said, you can't avoid expressing yourself in your way, and of course that is important, because you're this vessel of resonance, you could say. You're this receiver of certain frequencies, and you're the only one receiving that way. Like you have your own frequency that you receive, and that resonates at this point in time with you in this way. So that's why I love to use different teachers, like different mystics, because they all come from the same source. Like they speak from the same source, of course. Like there's one voice, sure, but this voice is literally emitting its frequencies all over the spectrum in all kinds of ways, and that's beautiful if you discover that. Now, this is interesting. It would be, I'm going to show you a video in a moment. I just finished it, and I'm like, I was so inspired in doing that, specifically because of what is being said in it, and how that resonates with me in this point of time. Now, you know the story of Jesus, and since we're dealing here with a Jesuit, like Pierre Teilhard, the Jesuit, Jesus is present in his talks and in his pensées, in his thoughts, in his stories, and Jesus is very much present. Now, you know the story, the healing story of Jesus, when he enters into the bath place, Bethesda. So there's somebody laying on the floor there. He cannot really move himself. He's already there for 30 years. Like he has spent a lot of time close to the bath, because if the bath starts moving, it actually has a very specific healing frequency that if you would jump in the water, you would be healed. But he can't move. So that's like, wow, yeah. And he has nobody. He has no family or friends to put him in there. That didn't succeed for 30 years. Always on the edge of it, never jumping in it, because he couldn't jump. So anyway, so Jesus comes to him and he's asking, do you want to be healed? And you can say, like, well, that's not a very friendly question for somebody who is on the edge of a healing bath where he cannot get in himself, but he loves to be healed. But that's not the case. So Jesus comes with a very specific demonstration. He asks him, do you want to be healed? And in the next moment, he says to him, pick up your bed, or take up your bed and walk. And the man stands up and walks away. So that is the story. Now here's the thing. This is the beginning of a story that I'm going to share with you, at least the first page. We looked at it on Monday too. This is like the first page of a little booklet of 90 pages, wherein more of this is occurring. But I love to really present it today just as you were not supposed to see this. You can see it like that. Like, you were not supposed to see this, but I'm going to share it anyway. So this is exactly to do with healing, with recognizing the vibration of reality, and then what happens when that occurs. What options do you have when you actually are recognizing this healing frequency, this moment of truth that is right in front of you? what happens with you when you are exposed to that? Just like the guy at Bethesda. He's exposed to the loving kindness of Jesus. And Jesus asked him, and the healing power, like you could feel Jesus for sure. Like he had an incredible aura of healing light that you only had to be in his vicinity, you would already be healed. Now here, the guy is laying there, Jesus is coming, and something occurs. So in this scenery, in this story, we enter in. And now Master Teacher is going to share something about that. In fact, with the words of Master Teacher, I made the video, and that's what I'm going to share with you. All right, so I love it. It is high, bright, beautiful, healing teaching, you could say. You can hear it. Everything is there for you to hear it. So this is what we said on Monday too. That's why I refer back to it, and that's perfectly all right. There's no pressure to accept this. It is just looking at the impossibility of accepting this lies basically in the fact that there's no justification for the miracle. And that's even for the guy laying in Bethesda on the edge of the... there's no justification for the miracle that is happening to him. He has been laying there for 30 years. So it's like he gave up on that forever. He gave up on the idea of being healed. And what happens? He's healed. He's healed. There's no justification for it, but it did happen. So I love this. Say more than one reason. One certainly is also this one. Is like no, I lost it. But the real beauty for me in this was that there's no justification for it, but there's more. I forgot about it. That's a pity. That comes back. That's so interesting. But if I get it back, you're gonna hear this. So you can only hear it in the right time, I guess. No, it doesn't come. It disappeared just like that. Huh. All right. So connecting this to Pierre Teilhard. Was Teilhard a healer too? Oh yeah, he was a healer too, for sure. For sure. He. So I'm not going to say too much today about him, as well as that we use, in fact, his whole theme of discovering the inner fire, or the fire. For the second time we discover fire. So there's a first time, of course, when we first were a caveman and suddenly there was a fire. You learned how to make a fire. That was a discovery of fire outside of you. Now this, we underwent a real evolution, coming to the next part of discovering something within ourselves after this whole 50,000 years of humanhood. Suddenly come to the point where you see, oh my God, there's no solution here. What am I supposed to do with this? And here it is. Then suddenly you discover something within you that is resonating with you when you give up looking for the solution. You discover an inner fire, and that is a light that is available, that is with you. And this is, you could say, like the second time it's the rediscovery of fire. Now that part of the inner fire is very inspiring to me, because it is like not only in discovering that that's your passion, that's one thing that's really helpful, beautiful to recognize, but also that this is something that is teachable, in the sense of, if I share an idea with you, I'm not losing anything. I give you that idea. Now you receive that, and now you have that idea too. So in other words, it's like spreading like fire. It has the same characteristics as fire. It is warming, it is connecting, it is burning, it is consuming, it is expanding. That's another word. It's like it's expanding. So it is with your inner fire. So if you allow yourself to teach this and express this, try to find ways to express this yourself as a representation of your mystical experience, then suddenly there you see that it's spreading, that it's sharing, that it's like it's opening doors. And that is so beautiful. A very specific part, of course. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin shares, I am thinking here of Christian love. So it's actually his description of unconditional love. The love of God, the love for God. Christian love is incomprehensible to those who have not experienced it. That the infinite and intangible can be lovable. That something that is not informed, that something that is not visual, that you cannot hold, can still be lovable. Or that the human heart can beat with genuine charity for a fellow being. Seems impossible to many people I know, in fact, almost monstrous. But whether it be found on an illusion or not, how can we doubt that such a sentiment exists? And even in great intensity. So sentiment is then the translation, that people translated it into the idea of sentiment. I bet that he used a different word. It's almost like we doubt that such total experience can exist. And even in great intensity, your unconditional love for God, for your brother, loving your God, and loving yourself with all of your heart, loving your neighbor as yourself. Is it not a positive fact that thousands of mystics for 20 centuries have drawn from its flame a passionate fervor that outstrips by far in brightness and purity the urge and devotion of any human love? Like your love for God is not comparable to human love. Is it not also a fact that having once experienced it, further thousands of men and women are daily renouncing their every other ambition and every other joy save that of abandoning themselves to it and laboring with it more and more completely? Yeah, I use this specifically just because of, well, look at what we're doing. Look at what you do with your life. Like in this new dedication to the spiritual awakening, coming to a spiritual awakening from this dream of limitation into a recognition of the true essence of who you are. That's amazing. Your life is changing. Everything is changing because of that. But you decided to allow that change to occur. And that's so beautiful. So that is driven by fire. That's driven by your inspiration, by the light of God, you could say. That is a manifestation of that working through you. You could not have done that yourself. So that is part of the gift that you have received. Even though it might sometimes look like, well, I'm not sure if I'm so happy with it because of the intensities that you're encountering. But then there's always the possibility to drop that idea of that's difficult, to drop the idea that it's impossible, and become still and receptive and allow this, whatever can come to you, to come to you. The love of God can come to you. So then suddenly this is completely dissolved. This issue that you had before is completely dissolved just because you allowed yourself to return back to the Father's house, you could say, or to return back to your inner flame and let every idea be burned up by it. But it's a very gentle burning up in the sense of it was only for you to admit to that you're lost, to admit to that you don't know how to solve this, for you to admit to that it's impossible, for you to admit temporarily that you're powerless, that you have no idea how to do this. Like these are the best moments, in fact, where you are open to receive something else. Well, see, this is what Teilhard recognized and shared about a lot. And he connected with his other brothers in the light by saying, like, there were thousands of mystics who did the same thing. Like, they came to the recognition of this inner light and walked with it, you could say, or implemented it into their lives in a whole different way, or allow it to take in more space, more space, more space, to let it become your whole consciousness. The spark of recognition. Can you feel the quiet heat of a love that does not fluctuate within the world, with the world's changing forms? And are you willing to let that flame consume the illusions you once mistook for light, but in fact it was darkness? Like, can you feel the quiet heat of a love that does not fluctuate with the world's changing forms? And are you willing to let that flame consume the illusions you once mistook for light? In fact, in that what we just read is this embedded. So it is with this, the choice for fervor. As you look upon a brother or sister today, can you find the courage to see past their human story and instead feed the fire of the Christ mind that recognizes only the light in them? Wow. See, I think that's a lovely question. As you look upon a brother today, can you find the courage to see past the human story and instead feed the fire of the Christ mind that recognizes only the light in them? So it's like this is your choice for light and love. Now this is what came back to us in what I showed from Master Teacher 2. It's like, are you recognizing that? Yeah. Do you want to accept that because it's presented to you? He says it a little different. Like Master Teacher here uses the idea of if I would show up and meet you somewhere, there would actually be nothing that would be in the way for you to be completely healed and recognize your own wholeness just because you are encountering me. Because I'm aware of this totality of mind that I'm representing. Like I'm not something else. Now this, see, that is the same as what Teilhard is sharing. He just uses a different word. He brings it as a question, or he brings it as an idea. But he speaks from the same experience. That is the beauty of it. And he just poses some questions like, well, isn't it amazing that this is occurring? That you actually let your life be transformed to take more time, to dedicate yourself more to this, the reality of who you are, to discover more of the reality of who you are. Like what a lovely idea is that. So this is where I want you to get yourself into. It's like there's a heat connected to it. There's a warmth. There's an attraction connected. There's a passion connected to it, and that is living in you. It asks, like Joel would say, like the imprisoned splendor wants to escape. It wants to be bursting out within you by you taking time to connect with it. That is the invitation. So whether you call it fire, whether you call that like the splendor that needs to be released out in the open, being brought in the out in the open, or whether it is like pick up your bed and walk in full acceptance of the healing that just took place, instead of I cannot take the bed up because I'm 30 years already not able to do that, and I will not be able to do that today either. No, just he just goes for it. He was ready to hear this. He met Jesus right on time, like space and time were adjusted for that to happen. Adjusted. So there's no justification for the miracle to happen. That's why it's certain. There's no reason for it, why it happens, but it doesn't stop you from experiencing one. That is the beauty of it. That's the miraculous part of the miracle, if you want to say it like that. Like, the miraculous part of the miracle is that you can experience it. It is not possible. Within the construct of your human ideas, it's not possible. That's why it's certain. That's the same idea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so this is like, it is presented everywhere. In fact, everyone you meet is offering you the miracle of the full awakening to the Christ within. That is taking place right now. That is what is being offered right here. That is in every encounter that is being offered to you. So you see, like, well, you have certain ideas about the situation, that's why you can't receive it, because you say, like, no, it's not going to come from a guy like that. No, the guy that it's coming from should look like this, or it should use words like this. I'm like, no, not at all. No. Like, literally, you are offered it exactly in the way that you will receive it, even though right now you might not recognize it. Like, I'm representing that for you. Now receive that light. Right now, the only intention I have of sharing this with you is to bring you home. There's not another intention. And that can only happen by the miracle, which is not under my conscious control. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen. And it can very well happen right now. So on this field, you could say, that's where we meet, where we recognize your inner flame, or the flame, the fire that we share, the fire of recognition and consciousness that we share. That's happening right here. Sacred abandonment. What would your life look like if you finally renounce the exhausting pursuit of special love to simply abandon yourself to the one infinite flame that has been burning within you since the beginning of time and before that? So what would your life look like if you finally renounce the exhausting pursuit of special love to simply abandon yourself to the one infinite flame that has been burning within you since the beginning? The sacred abandonment. Does that mean that we all have to become priests and monks and nuns, just like Teilhard? Like, no, you don't need to go into a monastery for it. It's probably not going to work at all if you do that. So here we are. This is your possibility to recognize it and to consider this. It's like you're looking for special love or special recognition for your, basically for the defense of your ideas, for the defense of your self-defined identity, the one that you are protecting. It's like that's where you have dedicated your life to so far. And now there are cracks in that defense. So sometimes there's a light literally shifting into your consciousness that doesn't seem to have been there before. But basically it's a light of recognition that you are allowing. So the construct that you have made of yourself is literally falling apart bit by bit in order for you to have a mystical experience. To see that this inner flame is wide awake within you. Now here it says, like, don't you want to just give up your search for a special love, for special recognition, for defending your own personal personal in the sense of self-defined identity, the one that you think you are, the one that you're defending, the one that is offended when it's directly targeted. So all this is the awakening story, and so it's lovely to look at it in a different way, and this was one of them, one of the ways to look at it. So here's one more question. Now here's the thing. So I use this one for my own inspiration. Can you feel the quiet heat of love that does not fluctuate with the world's changing forms? And are you willing to let that flame consume the illusions you once mistook for light? Well, I use this to let myself be inspired to make a video, basically like a video sketch. Because if I use video from Canva, of wherever I get it from, like when I use that, then it feels like, yeah, okay, that's a picture. It's not something I filmed myself. Like I wasn't present when that was there, even though it can be useful as a sketch, but it doesn't have the connection that I could have when I'm present here. And this reminds me of what I wanted to share before, but anyway. So it's like here I am filming this, completely part of the whole occurrence that is taking place. Like that communicates. That's real self-expression. So now here I made a sketch. Like I said, I made a sketch using pictures, and that's great. Just to express what I just read. In fact, the succession of diminishing the effect of my self-identity and recognizing the inner flame as something that comes more and more into my consciousness. That was the inner flame, like slowly but certainly recognized, despite the changing forms of the world. And there were a lot of changing forms. It was quite overwhelming. But anyway, so it's like, and suddenly the music all ends up in being just one violin instead of this whole, whatever that was before. It's a sketch, like I said. But anyway, I loved it to express it this way. Now, here's the thing that came back to me, because you wanted to hear this. And I was curious if it could come back to me, but now I recognize, oh yeah, this is what that is about. So one of the expressions that Master Teacher shares in the talk, where we saw the video of, like this video, is he's talking about Jesus. What did Jesus do? Be present. He was present. He was just present where he was. And see that in that all the changes occur, like all the healing occurs. Like this is, it seems like just a sentence, like a few words, but in fact it is like this is how healing occurs. How can you allow healing? How you can say it in mystical terms too. It's like, how can this mystical experience come to you if you're not present? That's impossible. In other words, if you're distracted by something else, whatever that is, it's impossible for you to experience it. And it can still happen, because miracles happen no matter what. But here it is like now you're opening up to a different experience. And how do you do that? By first being present. If I'm not present in the situation and see it exactly as it is, and seeing it, taking time to let that be shown to me, and then in fact you see that all things fall into place, that it's all is given in this instant. The only thing for me was to seek first the kingdom, like to stand still, be present, and allow my mind to be whole and not distracted by any limited idea. If I allow my mind to be whole, everything is whole. Everything is representing that wholeness. Just like that is happening right now when I speak to you. It's like there's nothing else happening than you being present in this moment. There's only one of us. I have no ideas about what I'm doing or how it's supposed to look or what result it's supposed to have or the justification of any kind. No, an open mind, a whole mind is a whole mind. It's open. It doesn't want anything. It doesn't have a motive. It is just simply present here. Now everything falls into place. Everything shows. Like this is really looking at things in a different way. Allowing everything to tell of itself instead of determining how anything should look. So in other words, there's no doing in that. There's no manipulation. There's no suggestion. There's no, I don't know what other words to use, but there's no desire connected to it. It is simply what it is. It's right here. It's simply what it is. So that was one part that I thought was very important to revert to today. Now here's one more thing. The reason that I use the talk of Master Teacher, because I just prepared a video and shared it with you, like why would I tell you about that? Is there a reason for it? No. But it doesn't exclude this moment either of that being shared. Like what else are you going to do than include everything in that is present this moment in my consciousness, just as a gift that I have received and now can give away. That's all. Why do I give that away? Well, this is like, I don't think about that. It is what I do. That's what happens. That is the fire within me. It is literally spirit breathing through me to let that occur. There's no other way. There's no reason for it in that sense. There's no motive behind it. Certainly no intentions of becoming famous, rich and famous. It's like, no. So there's no motive behind it. You don't need to say like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. You are allowed to say, you can tell me anything, of course. But the purpose of it is the sharing. In that is the fulfillment and nothing else. I let this moment be whole. I give it away. Now I receive that immediately. What do I receive? That what I give. Is that depending on anything so-called outside of me? No, not at all. Same here. This is something that comes back to us every day. World peace. World peace this, world peace that. It's like, this is right now is world peace. It is already accomplished. It is right here. It doesn't depend on anything. It's like it only asks for your recognition and discovering that what gift it is for you. Now you can give it away by receiving it. You experience this peace, world peace, you could say, or your inner peace. By you receiving this, you extend it. That happens automatically. You don't have to go on a barricade to share that. No, you receive the peace and in that you give it away. Receiving and giving are the same in truth. Like, there's no opposites here. The same with, there's no opposite to the love of God. There's not the love of God and sickness, pain, death, and limitation. Like, no, sickness, death, and limitation is only a representation of the idea that there would be something else. That's wrong perception, that's all. Like, literally you see something that cannot be there. That means also that it has no reality and can bring you back into your recognition of the truth that you are just like that. So Pierre Teilhard was certainly also very much aware of this, even though we don't really use it today in the sense of using his words to express it. But this is all in the sphere of your inner fire, the rediscovery of fire within you. That idea we share here completely. So thank you so much for your presence here, for allowing me to share this with you. So, and we are heading over now to the next part, which is the non-public sharing of our discoveries.